Rovers, one of 5 clubs heading into this week's action up in the Championship, still with a chance at those playoffs. That's right. Can we make it over the line, or will we get beat? We're going to take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we're previewing the playoffs. That's right, we've got 5 fans standing by, and we're going to hear from them in just a second, of course. But if you know where you've been, smash your subscribe. You want some shop for Blackburn Rovers, World Football, Championship Football. We're going to all hear under one rooski. That's right. And also, before we jump into it, a big shout out to the patrons and a big shout out to the members. You know who you are. But now is, of course, to preview. We're going to get into it right here, right now, by chatting with the fans. Each and every one of the clubs that are in the mix are represented here today, and we're going to see what they think heading into this weekend's drama. Heading into the final weekend of the EFL Championship, and of course it is the playoff push. 5 clubs compete for just 2 spots, and I've got a fan of each and every one of the clubs standing by right here, right now, to talk about their chances heading into the final weekend. We're going to start with in the driving seat. How the devil are you, Annie? It's been a long, long time, of course. Bristol City, no, I would say going under the radar. They've been stepping up the form of late. It's been a great season for them, considering losing a top talent such as Tommy Conway at the start of the season, and of course Liam Manning's own personal struggles. But how are you feeling heading into this weekend with it all on the line here for Bristol City?
I think with pretty much everyone else, nerve-wracking. I think generally when we've been in this sort of position, we've been the chasing team, and this is a little bit new. But look, it's all in our hands. We're at home. We're against a side who are fighting to avoid the drop. But we've been fantastic at home. So I don't know. I feel weirdly confident. But I'm also very well aware that this is the Championship. This is Bristol City. We could easily mess it up. But yeah, weirdly confident, Doug.
That's good. But coming into this on the back of that heavy defeat the other day against Leeds United, do you think that's going to have any confidence-knocking problems for the players heading into this, the return to Ashton Gate for you guys, for the Robins?
No, I don't think so. I think whenever we have lost a game, which has not been a hell of a lot, to be fair, especially second half of the season, we've generally recovered quite well. We've shown character. We've shown, especially Ashton Gate, even when we've been in tricky positions in games, like that Sunderland one, where we were 1-0 down at half time, we've generally recovered quite well and shown character and shown an ability to come back in games. So no, I'm not particularly sort of worried about any sort of confidence issues. Like, we've done really well to be in this position in the first place, and I mean, if the players don't realise that at this point, that's a deeper issue. So no, I don't think they'll be so too displeased about it. We always knew that was going to be a free hit, especially after last weekend's results and us playing on the Monday night. So yeah, I think 90% of that focus going into that Leeds game was on this Saturday. So I don't think so, no. And sometimes you have to hold your hands up and go, right, we've just played the best side in this division probably, and a ridiculously good team. So no, I don't think there'll be a massive confidence issue, no.
All right. Well, next in line behind you is Claudio. Of course, he's sitting in 6th place with Coventry City. How do your feelings heading into this weekend? Of course, you guys are familiar with the playoffs of the last couple of seasons. Last year, missing out. Previously, the year before that, finishing in 5th spot. But are you confident bringing it back to your own gaff, taking on a Middlesbrough side who are a little bit wounded, maybe? Appreciate it. So yeah, thoughts and hope heading into this weekend against the Middlesbrough side. Maybe a little bit wounded themselves, but is the confidence running through you guys at the moment heading into the weekend?
The biggest plus for us is our home forms. I think the last 12 matches, there's only Bristol City have had a better home record than us. We're better than Leeds and Burnley at home in the last 12 matches. We've won 8, drawn 2, I think, and drawn 1 and lost 2. Those are to Burnley and Leeds. And I know Middlesbrough have been struggling away from home, and they've had a pretty indifferent season since the turn of the new year. I think as a fan base, we're excited, but we're actually frustrated because when we got into fifth position, we should have really pushed on a bit. And we had 4 of the bottom 5 to play. Admittedly, all the way at home, we picked up a point. And somehow, I don't know how, we are still in there. And with the results the way they went at the weekend, I mean, I couldn't believe that Norwich did us a massive favour. And because of that, we are in the driving seat now. And, well, if you'd have told me at the start of the season you've got to win your last game at home, unless it was against Burnley or Leeds or Sheffield United, I'd have taken any club in the Championship at home. I think we ordered them. If you're at home and if you win, you've got a chance to go in the playoff semi-finals, I'd have taken it. And where we were in November, definitely have taken it. So I think, we're excited. I probably don't sound it, but I'm a bit of trepidation there as well.
Well, heading into the weekend, though, of the teams involved in this playoff push, who do you think has the most pressure on their shoulders, managerial-wise? Is it Frank Lampard? Is it Carrick over at Borough? You guys seem to be the guys spending a bit more than money in regards to talent. So, a lot of the fingers seem to be pointing in your direction, or necessarily Middlesbrough as well.
Well, I mean, is there pressure on Lampard? He came in with it was terrible, basically, when he came in. So he probably saved the season. We can't complain at that because we're nowhere near it. As for Middlesbrough, I don't know. It's a tricky one. But Gibson, he's fairly loyal to his managers. He gives them time, doesn't he? And they've just lost their way a bit, haven't they? Basically. So I don't know. He'll probably be gone if they lose on Saturday, which would be a shame because he's a decent manager, I think. But like a lot of the clubs up there, you've got the top 3, which are way ahead of everybody else. You've got Sunderland, who have a bit of a freak start to the season, and then everybody else, basically. And we're so close. There's nothing in it, these teams. Absolutely nothing. Millwall came to us at Christmas. We drew. We won down there 1-0. Bristol City, we beat them at home, but drew away from home. There's nothing in it. Blackburn, I think we did the double over Blackburn, which is astonishing. But, there's not a lot in it. And with our goalkeeper, anything can happen.
I was going to go to Middlesbrough next, but of course I've got to go down the pecking order. And we can't forget about Millwall. Millwall are in there, and they're in there on merit. And they've had a bit of a crazy old season themselves, haven't they? Change of manager at the start of the season, legend in Harris departing. Then you take EFL Championship guru, that is Alex Neil. He does it with, he works wonders with all clubs. He's now with you guys. Is there hope and belief with the Millwall lot that you can actually get over the line this time?
Well, I've got to be honest, Dirk, I've got no idea what we're doing here because it's been one of them seasons with us. But listen, we're Alex Neil's come in and done a fabulous job because Neil Harris was struggling at the time, as much as he's a legend of the company, of the club. But Alex Neil's come in and done a fabulous job. We've had an awful amount of injuries that have really sort of ruined our first team week in, week out. But fair play to the boys. They've come out in all the games that, in typical Millwall fashion, that we're not expected to win, we've gone and won. We went up to my dear old friend who's coming on next, I think Stephen, at Blackburn, was absolutely awful and looked like we was totally out of it. Then by the end of Easter, thanks to a few results elsewhere, we're back in with a very good shout. And listen, the one game, and this is a typical Millwall thing, the one game in the run-up that I wasn't worried about was Burnley away. Because if ever there's a game that Millwall might win, it's Burnley away. If we was playing Plymouth away, I'd be panicking like mad. But I think, coming up against Burnley, that by the way, just a little bit of trivia, the last team to beat Burnley was dear old Millwall. So we've got no worries, got no pressure on us. We're not expecting to be in the playoffs, to be quite honest. We know we've got a one-off shot, give it a go, and we'll see what happens and bring it on. I can't wait for it because I've been looking at all the different scenarios all week and it's driving me mad. So the sooner it gets here, the better.
Yeah, but just to turn back on a bit maybe a sour note there, your Wimmel's last trip to Lancashire didn't end well. Of course, Blackburn Rovers were on the fortunate side of that last game. So this coming trip to Lancashire, you do have that win on your record at your place. Of course, yeah, and who knows? Millwall could do it. gate crash the party. And again, like you said, if anyone could do it, Millwall have already done it once this season.
Just to counteract that, Dirk, we always lose to Blackburn. We always, they done us what was it last season or season before?
Yes.
As it was coming to the end. And Blackburn's not our favourite place. And I know there's a scenario it could be us and Blackburn in the playoffs, and but give me Burnley any day.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Well, also in the mix and in consideration is Blackburn. And Jacob, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Jacob? No, he can't. He's not playing ball. But we'll go to Middlesbrough then, shall we? Stand by. It's Stephen. And of course, from our early initial conversation here, you might not be the most confident heading into this. How's your take on the Borough heading into this weekend's action against a Coventry City side that can be pretty mean at home?
I put that on you, Dirk. No, it's fine. Our season, it's like having a bag of Revels. You don't know what's coming. You have no idea what's coming. It's been difficult, been ups and downs. I mean, we were getting close to fifth a couple of weeks ago. Won on Good Friday, beat Plymouth, and then it fell apart again. It's been our season, and we couldn't pick a worse team to go to in Coventry as well. Got an awful record at the CBS. I've never seen us win there. I don't know what to expect. To be quite honest, I have no idea what to expect. Are we confident? No. Are we downbeat? Yeah. But this would be typical Borough to go and do it.
That you do not have in common with the other teams competing is a change of manager throughout the season. Every one of us has changed our manager through our own doing or through other interfering factors. But do the Borough lads and the fans believe in Carrick? Is his job on the line here heading into this game against Coventry City?
Oh, massively. You could have gone at least 2 occasions this season. As a fan base, we're not shy of that. We'll always back him in that 90 minutes, before, in between, pints, I suppose, before and after games. We'll always back the team. We'll always back whoever's in charge. But if we don't make top 6, there is a massive chance that we won't. There is. I think his job is on the line now because that squad. I think someone alluded to it. Before New Year, we were up there with Sunderland. We were up there with the rest of them in the chasing pack, and we've just absolutely fell away. We fell off a cliff and we've splattered on the floor. I don't know what's happened, but it's happened now, and this is where we are. We go to Coventry, we have to win. There's no ifs or buts.
Permutations are on the line or possible this coming weekend. Annie, if I could ask you, what's your dream scenario this weekend? Of course, I know, of course, it will rely heavily on Bristol City, but if you could cherry pick the results yourself, how would you see this weekend pan out?
Well, it's quite simple for us. We just need to win. And that would guarantee us 5th, no matter what happens elsewhere. So I think going 2-0 up within 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that would be quite nice. Wishful thinking, but to be honest, Dirk, it's just I'm not really overly bothered about what goes on elsewhere. I think it's just about us finding a way to win, as we've done a lot of times at home. So just finding a way to win, I think. And if that doesn't happen, even if we draw, and I've sort of tried to run some calculations on it. It's not the end of the world. I think we're probably still somewhat in pole position to get into the top 6 at the very least. Maybe not 5th, but in the top 6 at the very least. So, as I said, quite confident. But yeah, the dream scenario is just go 2-0 up nice and early, and I think that will be the same for Coventry because we are the 2 teams that everyone's trying to catch. So if we try and if we get ahead and start winning our respective games. Unfortunately for the others, there's no real sort of competition.
That is true. Feeling the same about that, Claudia? Do you think, of course, the pressure is on the rest of the guys here to maybe get an early goal themselves, try to get the news out to around the other grounds and maybe cause some problems. But besides Coventry City winning, is there one of the other chasing pack you would like to see join yourselves in the playoff?
Oh, yes.
First and one and others.
I think Bristol City deserve a shot at it, don't they? They've been trying so hard in all these years. I mean, they've not been up there since 1981 or something like that. It was whenever the last time they were in that division. We've got a fantastic track record of getting results on the last day when we needed it. We escaped 9 relegations on the last day in the old Premier League or top flight. And then you look at even when League Two we went down there, we did it on the last day. Needed a point. We needed a point with Middlesbrough when Millwall bizarrely got hammered at home by Blackburn, and Middlesbrough just couldn't score against us, and we ended up drawing, and we just did enough to get in there. And I think it was something bizarre, like if somebody had scored another goal, we could have dropped out because at one stage we'd actually fallen out the top 6. So it's I personally think the Championship. I wouldn't be surprised if all the matches are drawn on Saturday, because that's how tight the division is, and nothing changes. And we'll be looking at it at the end of the day, and there'll be, Middlesbrough fans probably kicking themselves, and the same from Blackburn and Millwall. We're confident that we got a really good chance, mainly because Preston needs something at Bristol. Burnley are desperately wanting to win the league, and it's the same with Sheffield United. They don't want to lose, do they? The last game of the season. It's all about momentum. So we'll just have to see. But if we were playing away at Middlesbrough, I know we've even got a decent record at Middlesbrough away in the last few years. I wouldn't fancy it because our away form is shocking, basically.
But this is pretty much a near carbon copy scenario of a couple of years ago. But what is different from the time you made the playoffs 2 years ago to the time now heading into this weekend's into the final game of the season?
With us, Jokeres and Hamer. That's the difference. We haven't got those two. With those two, we'd have finished probably third. The guy is scoring 52 goals in the Portuguese league this season. He got 40 odd last season. That's what we're missing. And Hamer, Player of the Year in the Championship. And that's the big difference. We've kind of bundled our way through. I mean, we've not been outstanding at all in some of our matches. We've had 6 matches where we've won in the last minute. it's bizarre, So we've saved ourselves quite a few times. So that's the difference. I would say we're more workmanlike as a team at the minute. We've got too many injuries as well. So and a keeper who's basically all over the shop. So it'd be interesting what happens on Saturday. If we get our noses in front, I think we'll see it out. If we have to chase the game, we've got problems because if Middlesbrough play a low block and all the rest of it, we've struggled to beat teams to do that. So we let in a goal all the time. So
Right, sorry about that. I'm just trying to navigate some technical snafus. Denver, of course, we haven't heard from a Blackburn fan besides myself. I'm only chipping in every now and again. But, of course, you're stepping in here for Jacob. Jake's having a nightmare. Don't know what's going on there. But heading into this weekend, it's all on the line. All on the line. It is. It's all on the line. Do Rovers realistically have a chance here? Are we, do you give us any hope? I know a lot of these guys are confident heading into it, some more than others. But do we actually stand a chance here this weekend to get cash to the top 6?
I mean, you've always got to say we've always got a chance, of course. We've only got to, beat a Sheffield United side who are third. But then again, they are out of form. Yes, they did win against Stoke on Friday, but you just got look when you're this close at the last game of the season. I'm sure everyone in this chat, they're always confident, that they're in and around it, that they're going to be the game that do it, and you hope that other results, especially us, go our way for that to happen. But just looking at some of the other fixtures around it, and there's some tough games in there. The bottom of the table and those at the top. There's everyone in the mix of really really tough games and. Look, I'm confident. Am I? Again, I'm a Blackburn Rovers fan, so there's always that little bit of doubt when it comes to definitely the playoffs. But look, you've got to be positive as a fan. Look, you've got a chance if you do your bit. Look, we can just hope that it will be enough at the end of the day. But there's a few things that need to go our way, and look, and things have gone our way for the fact that we're in this conversation now. Yes, we had to win 4 games in a row, but regardless, 5-6 games ago, after our terrible run, we thought we were well out of this conversation. I did anyway, personally, but the fact that other teams have almost let us back in, the teams in and around us, dropping points, and we've just been on this roll. The fact that we're in this, look, why not? But yeah, look, there's always that little bit of doubt in my mind that we'll always the last minute, and then Sheffield United will beat us 3-4-0 or whatever. But look, you've always got to hope. You've always got to hope and have a chance, possibly, that we could do it.
From the outside looking in, I'm looking at you, Stephen. Of course, from looking at your roster of talent on the pitch, it is quite astounding that that you guys haven't made it into the not only the top 6, but maybe even competed a little bit further up the field, because you've spent a bit of money. You brought in Kelchi Iheanacho, of course. I don't think he's kind of been a bit of a flop, to be honest with you, if I'm going to be brutally honest. And Morgan Whittaker as well, yet to get going out there, get the best out of him. But who do you expect to lead the line here coming into such an important game with the need of goals?
Well, we lead from the front. We've got to rely on Tommy Conway putting the ball in the back of the net. I'm sure Annie's a big fan of Tommy Conway. I can see the smile on his face. He knows where the net is when he really needs to do it. We've got Finn Azaz behind him as well, one of the best number 10s in the league. The talent's there. We've got everything we need to do this. Whether we've got the attitude to do it, whether we've got the will to do it, I don't know. I'll be part of the near 3,000 that's going down to Coventry on Saturday to go and witness it. I'm not confident, I'll fully admit that, but we've got the tools up top. It's just to be fair, we've got a hell of a keeper in goal as well now that can keep the ball out the net, and he's done so massively in the last few weeks. So the tools are there, the players are there. It's whether we actually turn up. If we do turn up, I actually do think we'll beat Coventry. I do, because I've seen their keeper in action. I saw him last weekend. Dear me, I thought our keepers were bad, but I just think if we turn up, we could do it. We could catch them a bit nervous, because the press is really not on us at all, because no one expects us to do it.
So let's create that scenario then. What happens if Middlesbrough make the top 6? How, what will that reaction be like to the Borough faithful? Of course, will it raise their optimism into the top 6? Of course, you could probably likely to meet up with a local rival in those playoffs, and of course that could whet the appetite for a really elongated season for the Borough, and again for the third parties watching on. A rivalry such as that, or reigniting a rivalry like that, kind of could be something to entertain us all.
It could be. I mean, finishing 5th, I think we'll be really, really lucky if we finish 5th. I think Bristol City will have a bit too much for Preston. Whether it's a point, whether it's 3 points, I don't know. But give us Sheffield United, give us Chris Wilder. Everybody loves upsetting Chris Wilder. Everybody loves doing it. Everybody loves seeing them little memes and stuff that goes out after games. He can't take a defeat. We've had him in charge. We know what he's like. So to put one over him would be good. But get us in there, and it's a lottery, isn't it? The playoffs. That's what the playoffs is all about. No one expected Luton Town to go up the other year when they beat Coventry at Wembley. To be fair, I fully expected us to go up that year, so that's a completely different story. But it's always the unexpected. Huddersfield Town did it. Crystal Palace did it. A fair few years ago from being 21st in the league. That's what this championship league, this league's about. So get us in there. Give us a shot. Let us have a go at you.
Indeed. Yeah, that's a Claudio. Claudio, can you hear me now? Of course.
Yeah,
you're in the driving seat. Like I said, Middlesbrough got the firepower. Change of manager this season. Mark Robbins started it all off for you guys. Seems to somehow have got a tune out of a Stoke City side. But if you had kept him in charge, would you be here at the end of the season? Like you are right now?
You know what? We've done this season. We've done no different to what we've done the last previous 2 seasons, where we started slowly and then after Christmas sort of put the burners on. So it has been bizarre, but I just don't think we'd have done it this year. Things had gone a bit sour and we just weren't creating. We're giving in we're letting in about 2 goals a game we were averaging. Lampard came in and got it down to almost won a game at one stage, and turned it around. Our home form was terrible. I think when Mark Robins was sacked, we'd lost 6 matches at home between league and cup. It was just, and the atmosphere, although getting decent crowds, it was, the atmosphere was dead after about 15 minutes because when the straw that broke the camel's back was the Derby game, basically. To lose it to Derby at home, that was it. Because at the time, I don't think Derby had won a game away from home either. They're really up the bottom of the league, I think. So it was just a terrible result for us, and that was it. And since then, we've pushed on, and I'm not sure we'd have done it this season. I think because he lost AD Vivash and Lawrence as well, the other coach, during the previous season, it felt like the ideas man had gone. So it makes you wonder if AD Vivash was the guy who was actually pulling the strings and not Mark Robins.
Yeah, and it was touched on a little bit as well by Stephen about your goalkeeper. How confident are you with him between the sticks right now? Of course, we saw him in against Luton. I saw him against Luton the other day. It was some moments, but how much damage does it give to Coventry heading into this game?
Oh, none for me. He for that game against Luton though, he had 89 minutes where he pulled off 3 really good saves. He looked confident coming out for the ball, and then all of a sudden it's like his head goes, and there's no need for him to come out the box 18 yards to do what? And basically, he just knocks our defender out of the way. Kitchen couldn't get a proper head on the ball, and even after he did that, Louis Binks probably should have cleared it because it was the weakest shot I've ever seen by the Luton striker. But the trouble is, he's done that before. He did it at Burnley. Against Burnley, the same thing. There's a whole reel of goals and calamities he's led in. Portsmouth away was dreadful. So he's shot of confidence, which is a worry, really. I mean, when he uses his feet, he's great. He can really knock a ball out, but controlling the area, not at all. We don't know what's wrong with Ben Wilson, although he's been on the bench all the time, so he must be fit to play. But losing Dovin was massive for us because after Christmas, he really came into his own. But that injury at Sheffield United, as soon as that happened, a lot of us behind the goal kind of went, oh no, that could be our season over now because of the lack of confidence in the keeper.
So you're going to be facing a lot of firepower this weekend with Middlesbrough. So for those that don't know Denver, we of course had our own little managerial situation with Derby and John Eustace.
Does anyone know about that? I don't remember that.
Well, it was frustrating times for us. We looked decent around about January. Of course, we had our typical slump, but things have changed. We've got a new manager in who had to dig deep to get on this run, and now Big Val's in charge. He's at the wheel, 4 on the spin, unbeaten in 5. What are your hopes? Speaking for the rest of the Rovers fans here, putting you into the spotlight here. Do we believe in Big Val, or what? What's your take on him and how he's recovered from this?
I mean, is it early to say? Look, where we were, we always have our during Christmas period, we always have every year so far in the Championship. We've always had a slump. Even last year, where we were touching playoffs, and then after that Huddersfield game just before Christmas, was it Huddersfield? No, Sheffield Wednesday game before Christmas, and then we slept into such a dire situation. JDT leaving, of course, but this season, we were really good. Probably higher than any of us would have thought we were going to be. Right in amongst it. We were jokingly talking about automatics, but we were never really there. But then, of course, Christmas comes around. I was jokingly saying it later to some of my family members because they've seen us come up, and always after Christmas they go, "Oh, you're gonna have your slump." I'm like, buy his ticket up until Christmas, and then we're done. That's it. You don't go watch Rovers after that. But inevitably it happened again. So it kind of started going wrong under Eustace. People don't always know, and people outside it was not quite. And that may be a reason for him to leave as well, on top of amongst of other things. But yeah, Val comes in. With all the names around, we were happy with that, of all the names, Wayne Rooney, but maybe your likes of your Gary O'Neill's for that we probably, and Steve Cooper's we were more, hoping for, but the project or whatever, the things didn't align. So Valerie Ishmael gets the job, and I was reasonably happy at the time, And then I know because David Lowe, of course, took charge for 3 games, and we won 2, lost 1, and he did reasonably well. And everyone was questioning that decision, but we needed someone, and we couldn't have someone part time, And I don't think David Lowe wanted to take the responsibility full time anyway. But then Val had the worst, you drew against Norwich, of course, first game, and that was a lucky last-minute equaliser. And then we went on that torrid run, and even I was like, "What was the game plan?" I didn't know what we were trying to do. It seemed like we had 5, 6 different ideas, and maybe when that transition period from one manager to another, but yeah, it wasn't great. But then that Sheffield Wednesday, which I never watched the second half. I watched the first half, but then I had work afterwards, so I wasn't able to watch the full game. But that second half, don't know what's happened ever since then, but everything seems to have just clicked. Everyone seems to understand. I know key players have come back and maybe ignited the squad, like the Callum Britton's at right back, just immense at the minute since he's come back. And yeah, everything just seems to work. And everything that I can see that they're trying to do is coming off. And I can't see why this won't work, especially 1 game remaining. But, new season, new set of players, especially with the amount of players that we're letting go, and I don't know how many players we're going to bring in and what type of players we're going to bring in. Next season's next season. But right now, 1 more game to go. I can't see why not. 4 wins on the bounce, 5 unbeaten. Got a dream.
We are the form team. So, like you said, anything is possible. Of course. Hang on a minute. Go back to you then. Of course. If you are lucky, I know it's a bit of a silly question, but who else would you like to see in those top 6 alongside you, or who wouldn't you want to see in there? To boost your chances is I don't know mathematically. I don't know the other permutations about other ones, but is there a team you would rather have? Would you rather have Millwall up there, Rovers up there?
Well, to be honest, it doesn't really matter to me because we can't play. None of the teams here can play each other in the playoffs. None of us until we get to Wembley. So it doesn't really matter who gets in for me. I do think it is a shootout between ourselves and Coventry because I don't see Blackburn going to Sheffield United and winning. I don't see Millwall going to Burnley and winning. I think it is down to us. Excuse me. If we do win, I do think we'll get in. I think Bristol City will get in. I think they'll finish 5th. And I know you said you don't want to play Sunderland, but I do. I absolutely do. 4 defeats on the bounce. They took their foot off the gas at the wrong moment completely. So if it's the team we're aiming for in the playoffs, you aim for Sunderland. Don't aim for Sheffield United. Aim for Sunderland. Although I'd love to have a go at Wilder, like I said. But yeah, I'm not bothered who comes into the playoffs. Whether it's Bristol City, whether it's Blackburn, whether it's Millwall. The only team I really don't want to now see is Coventry because.
So let me hold on that point a second there, Claudio, Stephen. Of course, when the 2 sides have locked horns this season, whether it's at Coventry or Riverside, although I guess this time is at Coventry, but is Ben Doak fit? Is he fit and raring to go? No. Okay. Well, he was a major creative force for you guys, but he said Finn Aziz is back. He's one of the chief assist makers in the division. Was he playing the last time they took on Coventry?
Yeah, but we went down to 10 men quite early against Coventry at home, and we never beat Coventry at home, so I didn't really expect anything. And I think we got beat 3-0, if I remember rightly. But we never win at home to Coventry. We never win away at Coventry either, to be fair, so nothing really changed on that. But something's got to give. Something has to give. As I watched from afar when they played Luton at the weekend, and the pressure was on them because the first eyes of the weekend are on them. They were on Coventry. Whether it was a red card or not, I don't think so. I don't think so in a million years. And they did hold out really well, but to concede like they did, that's pressure. Pressure did get to them, and it showed. Whether we can push that on them, I don't know, because like Annie said, he's absolutely right. The CBS is very, very intimidating when it gets going. But we'll bring some noise with us. We're not going to stand there and be quiet. No chance. We'll bring some noise with us as well. and the lads know that we'll back them as much as we can. So we won't be intimidated. No chance.
Okay, Denver's Anya predicted the game between Middlesbrough Coventry there, Coventry Middlesbrough. What about the Bristol City Preston North End game? How do you see that panning out?
Honestly, as much as you'd like, maybe a draw. See, this is it now. Just being local rivals, Preston, or do we want the position in the playoffs? I don't mind Preston going. Being dragged into that relegation scrap, but my head cannot see Bristol not winning that. How poor Preston have been the past few weeks. They've just really been. And I know it was, what was it? It was only 1-0. Was it 1-0? I'm maybe thinking the whole game maybe instead, but no, just how poor they have been, and if I'm right in saying it is Preston, they're going to be the ones, if Hull win especially, they're the ones that are going to be dragged into it, depending on the Stoke and Derby score. But yeah, I can't see anything other than a Bristol City win. I mean, we'll see if Preston can do something, being that they are, their skin's on the line and they need a win, or they need something anyway. But I just can't see Bristol City not winning that game. So,
well, Claudio, let me bring you into this. I'm trying to get somebody against Bristol City here. So two staples are for the Championship. Preston North End are Championship. They can't get relegated, surely. And Bristol City aren't playoffs. That doesn't happen. So, Claudio, can you see a world where Bristol City lose this game?
No, but I can see them still qualifying, because personally I think whatever Bristol do, even if they lose, I think we'll probably draw. But because Blackburn and Millwall, I don't think we'll beat either of Sheffield United or Burnley. And I think it'll be one of those frustrating days for Blackburn and Millwall, where they'll be looking at it at the end of the day going, I cannot believe we didn't just get a goal, or they've hit the bar 3 times or something. And somehow Coventry have got in there by simply drawing, and Bristol have probably lost, because that's the Championship, isn't it? There's no 3 weeks ago I predicted all the teams would lose, and we did. Middlesbrough did, I think we did, and Bristol did. Nobody moved for 2 weeks. It was ridiculous. It's like nobody wants to get into that top 6. And I think it'll be the same again. I can't believe Blackburn are going to win another game in a row. I mean, 5 in a row. That's pretty impressive. When
Big Val effect right there.
Yeah, it's just. Sorry,
we have done 6 in the season, but that's under amazing John Eustace. But you never know, right?
I just think it's where you got to go. Sheffield United, just
yeah,
it's just he'll want to finish on a high. And as for Millwall, I cannot see. Well, they've got to score a load of goals as well. If we don't do what we have to do, it's Burnley don't let goals in. End of. They haven't let any goals into anybody, so I can't imagine they're going to do that on Saturday. We want to finish 5th purely because we want to play Sunderland, because we know we've got the edge on them as well, home and away. And we need one good away performance now once we get into the playoffs. If we get to the playoffs, could get us to Wembley, because our home form might be enough to get us through. And then hopefully whoever finishes 6th will be the shock of the playoffs and beat Sheffield United. That's what I'm hoping, because I think everyone's thinking the same. Whoever plays Sheffield United, please knock them out, and then it's a proper final, then, isn't it? Against 2 underdogs. I mean, Middlesbrough, when we got to the playoffs last time, Middlesbrough were favourites, big favourites that season to do it.
That was the Gleorcas, right? When you had Victor up top.
Yeah. But Middlesbrough, when everyone was talking about how great they were that season.
Yeah, well, Denver's indicating he has to bounce here, but let's wrap it up here quick here. Stephen, of course, who do you think will not make it? If you could put a pound on, who do you think not going to make the top 6? Who are you saying? Blackburn? What about you, Cloud?
I went to Blackburn. Sorry to put in there. I went to Blackburn beginning of April. We beat us on the Friday night. And this is something coming from me who was watching the most indifferent football. You're one of the worst teams I've ever seen. I'm so sorry. You were absolutely abysmal last night. I don't know how you're in it. It's good you're in it. But, yeah, give me a quiz. I'll put it on Blackburn any day of the week. They won't make the playoffs.
Claudio, the same question to you. Who's not going to make it?
Who definitely won't make it? Millwall. I've got to be careful with Blackburn, because my other half, they're all Blackburn Rovers fans.
Oh, respect. You've just gone up a notch there, Claudio.
Because, my father-in-law is not with us anymore. Was at Wembley in 1960. We've got a photograph of them outside Wembley. My wife's dad in his pretty much looked like school uniforms. It was bizarre with their mum and dad. So her grandparents outside Wembley. I mean, you lost that day as well.
Yeah.
Mind you, what's his name? Bust his legs. You're playing with 10 men after about 10 minutes. So, but no, I think Millwall. I cannot see them winning it. Burnley, just cannot see it.
Who ruling out right now?
Do you want me to be boring or? It's Millwall. I just can't see Millwall doing it against, unfortunately, our other rivals. That I just can't see it, and ultimately it will help us that ultimately and see, you know, it will shorten up. You know, if we get our win, which you never know, it'll just give us that chance on it. So we'll see, but I can't see Millwall winning it out of all the games. That'd be the one for me.
Yeah, and of course, hopefully, well, it should be two of yous will be in a part. Well, at least two of yous should be in party mode come Saturday, and of course, we'll be in those playoffs for an extended season. So, any closing comments, Stephen? Any closing comments for the Borough fans watching? Maybe.
Just get behind the lads. Just get behind them. You know, we've been to trickier places and won in the past. Why not? We went to Leeds in August and won 3-0. Why can't we just go to Coventry and do the same again? I'll see Coventry on Saturday.
Denver, we'll go to you. Closing comments.
Yeah, look, it's been a weird season, but as Blackburn fans, look where we were last season, right? We were one of the four and possibly going down, and now look, you know, at least we've got something to play for, and it's more, you know, it's not as awkward as going to Leicester away and having to win. But look, let's get behind them and let's hopefully have a good end to our season.
Claudio, say goodbye for us, sort of, nearly.
Yeah. Well, we've got a full CBS for about the third game running now, possibly another record crowd. It's going to be a hell of a game, I think. Very nervy, and I think we may just edge it. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we draw and scrape through. But it's going to be bizarrely, we've got Stephen Atwell as the referee, who's from Nuneaton. So he's actually in the same boroughs where the ground is. So work that one out. I don't know how we've managed that. Maybe it's Frank Lampard kicking off for the last three referees we've had. So they're giving somebody from down the road. Bizarre, that is.
Check his underpants. Make sure they're not Coventry underpants. And Andy, close us out. Yeah, just win indeed. And then there's a lot of other scenarios behind the scenes. Yeah, like if I was going to be honest with you, like Liam Manning's had a hell of a year. So it would be nice to see him winning out. Millwall had a tragedy at the start of the season as well. With the goalkeeper over there. So, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So whatever happens, hopefully it will pan out well and we're all smiling in some way at the end of it. But that's the best way I can end it. So we'll knock it on the head right there. Appreciate everybody here. I'm going to put the likes of Coventry and Bristol City. Got nothing to fear, or can the likes of Rovers, Millwall or Middlesbrough gate cash the party? Let me know your thoughts down below. I look forward to hearing them. But until then, subscribe, smash the like. Catch you later. We're done.